hello. It's Dr. B here, and welcome to the Living Holistically Well podcast, where we have real, relevant, and life changing conversations to help you live well in every area of your life. Today, we're going to be talking about relationships, preferences, deal breakers, and non negotiables. Yes. So, I am in a piloted coaching program with 13 ladies, and we're talking about this week. And we've already had our first call on last night. And to say this was some great conversation, I had to get on here and shoot this podcast because I want us to have these life-changing, real relevant conversations. With the divorce rate being as high as it is, I don't think people are having these conversations. And these are very important. So let's dive right in. So let's talk about preferences. These are qualities that you would like your mate to have. And let's talk about some of them, like height. For me, I'm going to put skin color in there and then I'll explain. It could be those kinds of things that you prefer. I prefer maybe a particular sense of style that you want your man to have, your lady to have. So I talked about this one that really absolutely floored everybody. Like, I prefer an African American man. However, it's not necessary. I am willing, and this has changed over time, to go outside of my race. I am. So if somebody approaches me that is another nationality, from another ethnic background, I absolutely will give them an opportunity. Preferences are flexible, y'all. That means you change. And so make sure you know what your preferences are. Let's talk about the next one, deal breakers. These are traits of behavior that you will absolutely not accept. Okay? These you cannot tolerate in your relationship. So what are some of those? They could be addictions. One of the young ladies said one of her deal breakers was cigarette smoking. I gave one. I say absolutely will not date anybody who is HIV positive. No shade to them because, baby, people with HIV are living longer than people that don't have it. Okay, with proper health care, the right medications, they can live long, healthy lives. Okay, and so, but that's just my preference. Deal breakers are firm boundaries. Okay, that means that they do not change. They are non-negotiable. They are firm. Okay. Somebody said that they didn't want to date anyone with a criminal record. And that's one thing that I also look at. I'm going to check you out, and you should do the same for me. Felons, people with criminal records that are violent, like domestic violence, child abuse, pedophilic stuff, absolute deal breaker. Certain felons are acceptable, but what are you doing? Because I know people with felonies have a difficult time getting certain jobs. And how you living? Like, what are you doing? Now, I know some felons out here that's making money more than me. And so, but that's their mindset. That's the way they think. They're go-getters. And so where are you in this? What kind of criminal record would you accept, if any? You got to think about it. So deal breakers. Remember, deal breakers are firm, and they're firm boundaries, and they don't change based upon what you see in a person. And then you have your non-negotiables. And these are deeply rooted values and principles that are crucial to compatibility. That means I, I need these things for us to be compatible. And that can be your family values, your morals. So for me, I am from the traditional gender role perspective. I believe that men are providers, they're prophets, and they're the protectors. I don't want to do none of that. That's his job. Women, I'm the nurturer. I'm supposed to take care of the home, the children. And I was having this conversation with a guy that I'm talking to right now, and he's like, but all our kids are grown. So what do you do for the nurturing as far as the kids come? I believe, and y'all can correct me on this or even have your own opinion because I don't even think it's any correct. This is my belief. Even as our children grow and mature into adults, they still need us. We are still a very integral part of their lives. And our opinions matter. And we are always their first go-to. My children come to me first about everything. Decisions. I was thinking about this. What you think? That's who they do. They come to me for that. And so I believe that my nurturing role never goes away because my children are grown. And I'm also a nurturer for my husband. He's my man. I got to take care of him. Whatever that looks like for us. Okay? And so know what your non-negotiables are. These are, like I said, are typically tied to your core beliefs and even, your life goals. What are your non-negotiables? Okay. A non-negotiable for me to kind of do some more explaining is I will not date, non-negotiable, a man who is unemployed. I know I said that on the call last night. It's like, that's a given. No, it's not. I've seen people marry people who don't have a job. I'm not doing that. I believe that you need to be able to provide and take care of yourself completely before you enter into a relationship, man and woman. That's my opinion. So let's talk about these. Why do these categories matter? I think they're very important, and we need to make sure that we consider these because preferences and they're like your foundation. They're the foundation for a strong relationship. I prefer these things. I want these things. Even they're for compatibility. Okay. Now, we talked about preferences and we talked about a man having a sense of style. Yeah, I like a clean cut dude that's a little rough on the edges. What that means is he don't look like he gonna break you down if something happened. Oh, but he will. He got them hands. Yeah, a nice dressed man, clean, the way he dresses, nice. I don't want a man who's sagging. Every time you come around, he got on a wife beater and some tennis shoes and the pants hanging down. I'm not attracted to that. That's not. I prefer a man that looks good, that dresses well, that's well groomed. That's what I like. Okay, and that's a preference. Is it a deal breaker? No, because some men may profession. They get dirty at work, and I might see them like that. So is it a complete turn off? No, I gotta see. Do you clean up well? And so you gotta know what you want. And so for deal breakers, they protect you. They protect your heart. They protect your emotional and your mental well-being. So they help you identify red flags early because you want to catch them early. Okay. And then when we talk about non-negotiables, why we got to talk about non-negotiables? Because they ensure long-term compatibility. And you want that. You don't want to just be compatible for a season. You want to get married to stay married, to be married for the long term. Okay? So compatibility is important with non-negotiables. They align all your values. And I think those are important. So let's talk about how can you identify these traits? And so first, you got to have um, some time where you reflect on your past relationships. What happened in that relationship that didn't sit well with you? You know, reflect on it. And I had this before, and I don't ever want this again. Um, so for me, um, I don't mind. Now at this age, I don't think I would do it at this age. But if you're in your 30s, 20s, late 20s or early 30s maybe, and you have a partner that you kind of like or whatever, you're getting to know, and they haven't quite made that career milestone or that income that you think you would need to live well. I was open at that age to help you go to school. Um, Pursue, what you want to be when you grew up. Let's go pursue that. And I support the family for a year or two while you go get it. But you gotta go get it. Um, so if I look back at a past relationship, um, I am a very affectionate person. I love touching. Um, I love to spend time together. I will never get into another relationship or marriage with anyone who is not affectionate, who is cold hearted. I'm not. It's too devastating on you emotionally to have someone who don't touch, who don't want to have sex. I can't do that. So um, you got to reflect on what has happened in your past relationships that you don't want to happen again. And that'll help you build these values, whether it's a deal breaker, a preference, or a non negotiable. Also, write down um, everything that you feel when it comes to your relationship. So, we did this last night as an exercise, a brain dump. Write down um, what it is that you need. That means I have to have this. Write down some of the things that you want, okay? And you can even write down some things that you could care less if they exist, you know? So for me, I could care less if my husband or my partner cooks because I got it, baby. So I could care less, but like write it down. Um, write down things that you want in your relationship. Write them down. And we won't get on the list because I know the list, people think the list is obsolete or is outdated. I have a list, and it's simple, it's straightforward, and I don't deter from it. When I'm dating, if I'm on the phone first couple of conversations and you don't got that, we don't have to continue. We can move on. Be honest with yourself. And you got to avoid compromising. Like, well, okay, he's so cute. I hope we're not doing that, but okay, yeah. So he's got a lot of money, so I can look over his addictive personality. He just smoke a little weed every now and then, or you know, um, he watches a little porn to take the little edge off when he's stressed. Don't do it. Be honest with yourself. Do not compromise. Here's what I have, and I know this is not the norm. And I know people say, it's gonna be hard for you to meet somebody, and I'm cool with it because I'm happy single. So, um, and I'm gonna say this to put myself out. Don't y'all come for me in these comments. Don't inbox me nothing. But listen, I absolutely will not. I'm scared to say it. Continue a conversation or relationship with a man who leads with sex. I won't. It's a complete turnoff for me. Even though I'm a highly sexual, highly sensual, Um, don't lead with that. I'm attracted to a brilliant mind before I'm attracted to physical. Um, your conversation has got to be on point. If you lead with sex, you can be a multimillionaire, and I will not continue the conversation. I will not compromise. And I know that's not the norm because it's like, okay, he got a lot of money, but he ain't handsome. Do not compromise because you'll regret it later if you do. Stick to your deal breakers, your non-negotiables, and your preferences. Remember which ones are fluid, which ones can change, which ones are dynamic. And if they can change, then that's okay. But don't change who you are just to get in a relationship with someone because you'll regret it later. Make sure you prioritize your core values. That means that my faith, my family, my values, my morals, my finances, these future goals, what we're looking to do later in the future, they are very important. So you gotta prioritize them. Okay? You have to prioritize them. I think that those core values, they're not negotiable. They shouldn't be. Because that means that you'll change who you are just to be with somebody. And that's not good. Okay? So let's look at some common preferences, non-negotiables, and deal breakers that we discussed last night. I'm going to look at my notes because I can make sure I tell y'all. So we talked about preferences last night. I talked about, one young lady said some hobbies. She wanted somebody to play with. And I love that because I ride bikes and I love to, for somebody to hop on that bike and ride 10 miles with me. Everybody don't want to get sweaty. Men or women. Everybody don't exercise like that, So I would like somebody like that. Somebody who has those shared hobbies. Another preference, somebody talked about physical traits. She wants somebody black, that's dark black. She said, I like a fine man. If anybody knows me, I like fine men. I don't want a man that's 500 pounds. I can't do it. 400 pounds. No, thank you. Those are preferences that I prefer them to have, but they may change. What about love for travel? It's a preference. Everybody, I love to travel, but I also love to be at home. So I'm kind of, half and half on that. Another preference somebody talked about, career type. She wants a man who is professional. He's in corporate America, earning 6+ figures. Another lady says she prefers a man who's an entrepreneur. And but it's not a deal breaker or a non-negotiable. They're just preferences. Okay. So that means that they geared towards those people. Let's talk about some of these deal breakers they talked about last night. I was fluid, y'all. Disrespect. Calling me out my name or even other women. Talking about these bees ain't loyal or whatever. You calling women bees. And I'm like, I don't talk to me. Don't have those kinds of conversations with me because I think that's very disrespectful. Infidelity. You not even loyal in a dating relationship. You cheating and you sleeping around and you deal breaker. Because if you're doing it while you're dating, you're probably gonna do it while you get married. Yes. Substance abuse, and this was across the board last night. 14, which would include me because it was 13 ladies on the call. Substance abuse, not interested. I think that's important now with everybody smoking. And I think it's very important that you state your place when it comes to that. Popping pills. Everybody was like, no. Poor communication. Yeah, um, I am a communicator. I want to talk. We can text a little bit, but I like to hear your voice so I can hear your heart. And you lose stuff in texting. So most of the ladies on the call said they didn't mind just texting. I don't. I want to talk. And so a deal breaker is having poor communication in whatever place that is for you. You are a texter, um, phone, talking on the phone, or kind of a mix of both. I got to have a communicator. We all said that. We got to have somebody who communicates in whatever means that they do that. Laziness, meaning that you don't want to get out here and make it. You don't want to get out here and some ladies say hustle. I say go get it, business minded or even if you're career minded. I'm okay with you working a 9 to 5 or whatever, a 7 to 3. I'm okay with that. But don't be laying around the house and we have things that need to be taken care of, and I gotta be the one to go get a part-time job to help us get there. I don't think that's fair. I think the man should go be the provider. I told y'all at the top of the show that I believe men are the providers, and while I have no problem working extra or going to get it, I do that now as a single woman. I have an extra job. I have multiple businesses, so I'm out here getting this right. But when I get married, I'm not doing all that. That is his job, and that's where I'm at on that. So no lazy men. If you see something needs to be done around the house, your wife partner shouldn't have to ask you 5 times to do it. Get it done. I think that we all, stood on that last night. We don't want no lazy man. Okay. And non-negotiables. Religious alignment was kind of big, but I have on here that we were kind of split on here. So let me think. Oh, yeah, I remember. So a lot of the ladies, most of the ladies used to go to church. Some of them don't now. They have stepped away from the church. And so they was like, well, he had to go to church. Now, I could care less now. I just want him to have a relationship with God. That is a non-negotiable. And I think that was across the board. Where we were kind of going back and forth was, do they attend church regularly? Do they pray often? Do they study and read the word? Okay, so I believe that I want my man to have a strong relationship with God, whatever that looks like for him. Okay. I do want a praying man because I'm a praying woman. I know some people just pick up the Bible on Sundays. I know preachers who just pick up the Bible on Saturday night before they got to preach on Sunday. They can do that, whatever. But is that a non-negotiable for you? He has to study, pray, and be aligned with a particular religious group. Those are things you really need to talk about. That fell in our non-negotiable category. Desires, marriage. So listen, we had to move on, y'all. We was on this conversation so heavy last night. Let me say this. There are people who don't want to get married, but they want a relationship. So they want you to have your own spot. They want to keep their own spot. Y'all meet up when y'all need to meet up. Y'all hang out and whatever. They don't want to get married. They want you to be their girlfriend for 18 years. It's absolutely non-negotiable for me. I'm not going to be your girl for more than 2 years. I'm not. It's time. What we doing here? And it was a resounding. But then, like I said, we do know that there are a group of people who do not want to get married. So you gotta be clear in this stance. Are you okay with being somebody's girlfriend or boyfriend for the rest of your life? What are your non-negotiables when it comes to children? Do you want to have children? I'm beyond that stage. Don't even think about it. Okay. But some of the ladies, more than half of the ladies on the call, they can still have kids. And it's a non-negotiable. They want to have children. So if you saying that you don't, it's non-negotiable. We can't continue to keep going. Now, Another topic came up in this area, non-negotiable, for a lot of ladies was men with, so I want to say 35% of the women on the call were over 45. Yeah, 45. And they don't want men with small children, nor will they have children. So for this one, for me, it's a preference. I prefer a man with his children to be grown like mine. Okay, that's my preference. Now, it's a deal breaker if he has a child under the age of 10. Yeah, I don't want kids anymore. I can do some grandchildren because I got some grandchildren, but I'll prefer my children, the man that I'm dating, potentially marrying, to have adult children like me. So is that a non-negotiable for you? Do you want children? Do you want somebody who has small children? Are you open to that? You gotta have those conversations, okay? And so integrity is a non-negotiable. I will not date a man who is not honest, I won't. Integrity is very important. What are you doing when nobody's watching? That's important to me, okay? And work ethic is also a non-negotiable. Men don't work, men don't eat. That's what the Bible says. Men are supposed to go out and work. And so and when we said work, let me clarify this. I just saw, when we say work, either working, have a career, or even have a lucrative business. And so having an excellent or great work ethic, that's very, very important. Okay. So I want you to consider how these categories may shift as you grow and mature. Mine changed. I mentioned some of the things that I changed. I changed my mindset on some things. Pretty much they're still the same, but I did make some changes. Okay. So you need to have these early conversations. Like I won't say the very first conversation when you're getting to know, but maybe the second or third, you need to start having these conversations to share your deal breakers and let them know so they can get off the phone. And transparent moment here. I was talking to a guy earlier this year, and he's a really nice guy. He's suave. He had that look. He's, really nice. And about the third conversation, I want to say, I shared some deal breakers. And he said, well, I think that's the end of our conversation. And I said, is it? And he said, yes. I say, so I don't know which one that I shared that he fell into that category. We ended the conversation. I haven't spoken to him again. And so my deal breakers are: you HIV positive, you have a criminal history of violent crimes against women, children, okay? You have addictions or drug abuse, and you do not believe in the Most High. Them 4. And one of them he didn't meet, and so we ended our conversation. Early in the conversation, before I fall in like with this guy, before I really build a relationship, we ended that. He was very honest. He said, well, that eliminates me. And he was gone. Never talked to him again. And so I think it's important to do it early. Healthy boundaries. Be firm, but be nice. Be nice, ladies, when you're addressing deal breakers. I had years ago, well, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago maybe, I was talking to somebody that I knew, and we kind of shifted our relationship. We wanted to see, and he had some very, very strong addictive personalities. He smoked, chain smoked, cigarettes, them little Swisher Sweets, cigars. He drunk every day. He had a drink, an alcoholic beverage, beer, 2-3 times a day, every single day. Absolutely not. I was like, you drink too much. And he's like, well, I mean, I like to drink. I mean, I ain't hurting nobody. And I was like, yeah, but it's bad. And the thing that happened is we went to eat at one of my favorite spots, and he had a margarita. I had a margarita. And he had another margarita and then a Dos Equis, a beer. I was like, God, no. Now, mind you, he done had 4 drinks, and I'm still sipping on my one. Okay, I just don't drink like that. So I mentioned, I said, hey, you might want to slow down. You driving, right? And he's like, I'm fine. I'm fine. And so what made him stop drinking was the bartender refused to serve him again. Not because I asked. So when we were leaving, he was fussing. He was, talking crazy to me, talking about, you made them not give me no more drink. I'm fine. And he stepped off of the curb wrong. Like, I was like, but look at you. You can't even walk. I said, you're not driving me home. He said, get your A in the car. I was like, who are you talking to? I was like, no, sir. So I called one of my girlfriends and I say, hey, y'all come get me. I'm at this place. Come get me. And this fool drunk. And I'm not driving home with him. And it was an argument. And I remember this guy in the parking lot. He said, sis, you good? I say, I'm good. But he don't look like he good. He say, no, but are you good? I don't care about him. Are you good? I say, I'm waiting on the ride. He said, you might want to wait up here. And so I did. I went back up the steps and sat on the bench, and he was talking noise. He pulled his truck up, like, come get your in the car. I was like, yeah, this is over. This whole relationship, even the friendship is over that we had prior to for years, like 7 years before. This is over. And it was over. I ain't talked to him since. I'm not playing about Bridget, and you shouldn't play about you. Know what your deal breakers are and stand firm, but be nice. And I was nice as I could be with somebody drunk talking to me. Stay flexible with your preferences. You remember preferences, Don't let superficial preferences, oh, he got to be 6'5" and he's 6'3", and now you don't want to talk to him. Sis, make that make sense. Make that make sense. Oh, he got to be super chocolate black. I love a chocolate black man, but he caramel. And now you want to, I can't talk to him. He too light. He light skinned. Please, let's not get involved in colorism, okay? Don't get hung up on your preferences. You may be missing out on somebody that's amazing, and you stuck on his shoe size. Don't do it, sis. Don't do it. It could be a magnificent, meaningful connection, and you about to mess it up because you stuck. Okay? And so let's talk about this. I want to talk about the biblical perspective, and this is how I closed my call last night, and I'll close this podcast with these as well. Let's talk about the biblical perspective of relationships. Okay, and so when you have a faith-based perspective, and everything that I do is faith-based. Okay, I am God's girl, and so I always see what I must consider what the word says about it. So let's go to Amos 3:3. Y'all know that scripture. Can two walk together unless they agree? Y'all gotta have some things that y'all agree on. That compatibility is so important. It's so important. And so I look at that, and I look at even the goals, the values. They're important. The family values, the goals for our relationship, not even the marriage yet, just the goals for this dating and courting relationship. Amos 3:3. Another one, Proverbs 4:23. And I caution ladies, guard your heart. The Bible reminds us to guard our hearts with all diligence, because out of it flows the issues of life. And so guard your heart. Some stuff you want to keep protected, okay? You want to set boundaries early in a relationship. And I'm a boundary setter. First conversation, let you know. you know, who I am, whose I am, because that's very, very important. And protect your emotional health. And now I have to say, protect your physical health. You can't just be out here sleeping with people as soon as you meet them. You need to know. I know so many people who have gotten married and went into relationships, physical relationships. Nobody's been tested. Nobody. You know your status, but do you know the doctor, last time I got checked, the doctor said I was negative on everything. When was that? And can I see the paperwork? And can we even just go together? I'll pay for it. $75 couples testing. You can get it done at little or nothing. Okay? Set them boundaries early. Guard your emotional and your physical health. Okay? Even spiritual health. You got to guard that. Okay? You can get with the wrong church man and you will lead a church running and never go back due to church hurt. I've seen it done. Hell, I did it. Okay? So, guard your heart. Okay? 1 Corinthians 13, 4 and 7. And this, use this standard for what love should look like. Love is patient. It's kind. It's truthful. Yes. Use that in I had to work on that. I'm being transparent again. I ain't patient. I'm working on it. I'm patient with other things. Like I don't care. I don't say nothing about traffic. It is what it is. I always leave early. So I'm patient. I'll sit there until it's my turn to go. Okay. But when it comes to people doing stuff in relationships, I struggle with that. Because, and I say, since you got your stuff together, you want somebody who got their stuff together. That's why you got to date wisely. Because you date nobody who 50 still trying to figure out what they're going to do with their life. And, you know, so you got to be careful in that sense. Be patient. Be kind. Even when you're offering correction, like, babe, I don't like what you did. You got to be kind. You can't just go off cussing nobody out. And I have to work on that because I hang up. I end a call mid-sentence. Your mid-sentence. I will. Click. My girlfriend said, B, you got to stop hanging up in people's face. Why I got to keep hearing this? I don't even want to keep this conversation going. So click. And I know I got to work on that. And I'm doing better. I let somebody say something the other night and I listen. And then when it's like, I said, you finished? Yeah, I'm done. Oh, okay. I'm going to talk to you tomorrow. I feel sleepy all of a sudden. But yeah, you got to be kind and always tell the truth. Be honest. You upset with me? I am. Why? XYZ. Hey, can we have a conversation? I don't like what you did. Be truthful. Don't just keep it in because you know what happens. It keep building and building. And then when it comes out, it's an explosion. And you don't want that. Okay? So I want you to think about these things. Decide what's your differences between your preferences and your non-negotiables. Have you even thought about deal breakers? Have you? Relationships seem hard because the divorce rate is high. A lot of people are single, more single people than it is married. And so, but I believe when you date properly, court properly, and do the work to get to know each other and build in strong relationships, relationships can thrive. And you can have this amazing relationship that you dream about. I also think that standards or preferences can keep you single. Now, let me be clear. Some people want to be single. I love single. I love being single. Life has been wonderful. And but I do desire companionship in a sense. I won't die if it don't happen. But are your preferences, your non-negotiables keeping you single? Think about that. Can you just say, I want a man, you want a man that's 6'5"? look at the percentage of 6'5" men in the world. That's going to keep you single, sis. So maybe you need to say, I just don't want nobody shorter than 5'8", or even 6 feet. I prefer a man that's taller than me. That's it. And I'm 5'5", 5'6". Okay. Are your preferences and non-negotiables and deal breakers keeping you single? Look at them and make sure that it's not vain, like, they're all based upon looks. And here's something else, and this will be another podcast I want you to think about. Everything that I ask for or require in a man, I absolutely have. What about you? If you don't, sis, you need to adjust that. Do you possess the things that you're asking for? The preferences you have, do you meet those preferences? Because what if a man comes to you and say, oh, shawty, I don't want to be with you because you're 6 feet tall and I'm 6'2". Make sure that your preferences, your deal breakers, and your non-negotiables align with who you are for real. This was some good conversation, y'all. I hope that it makes you think. And I wish you the best in relationships, romantic relationships, going forward. We're headed into a new year, and I know people going to put it on their vision board. I'm going to put it on mine again. Put a relationship on there. Look at your list and see if you align with what you're asking the other person to have. Make sure that you're being authentic and true to yourself in your requests. It's Dr. B here with the Living Holistically Well podcast, where we have real, relevant, and life-changing conversations to help you live well in every area of your life. Have a great day.